Hey everybody, my name is Splattercat and welcome back to the Nerd Castle for another episode of Shadowrun Returns. This is number 5, Cinco, so forth. We had, in the last episode, weaseled some information out of one of Stevie J's underlings here at the Royale Tenement Complex, and we had rescued a guy's son from being tortured. Now we need to go talk to the father really quickly, and we do have the key to the elevator to go upstairs and rescue Coyote. So our mission is going pretty swimmingly, to be honest. There's a lot of worse ways that this could happen. Have you saved my son yet? Zipper's okay. He's pretty messed up, though. I don't know how to thank you. So he's gonna go over here. Let's follow him. I'm not one to try and eke a potential reward out of a kind of an unfortunate situation, but if there's one to be had, I'd love to get my grubby little fingers on it. And so let's check out this console, which we hadn't done before because my decking skill was too low. Oh, we can just use the elevator controls. So let's look at their BTL library, give you guys a little sense of the lore that surrounds the game. The database has a vast array of BTLs covering all topics from disturbing and sad to romantic and adventurous. Let's send a happy BTL to all the junkies. And so they're all like, ooh, see, so we can actually manipulate this. You can send them, in my other one I sent a violent one to him just to be a jerk. It was semi-hilarious. Then again, I felt kind of sadistic too, so... Oh, I could have downloaded the BTL currently being recorded. Interesting. Well, I think I probably got the same thing from that console over there, so either way it'll work. I mean... It's tough to tell. That appears to be an orc in lingerie. The things we have seen on this journey, my friends. The things we have seen already, and it hasn't even really begun completely. Let's go ahead and jump our way into the elevator here and get on with this debacle that's going to take place upstairs. So we enter the passcode, the elevator slowly grinds into motion, we run over here, we take a look at this friendly little panel because I won't deal with angry little panels, and it looks like this elevator only goes to the penthouse. Let's do it, straight up to the top. He says, Splattercat, if we go up there, I'm not leaving till we find Coyote. Let's do it. Locked and loaded and ready for bear. The penthouse suite. Stevie J's penthouse apartment might have been a nice place at one point in time, classic even, but now it's filled with neon tube lighting, broken down furniture, piles of rubbish, and crates containing who knows what. Still, compared to the rest of what you've seen, it's positively palatial. The only thing marring the penthouse's pseudo-luxury is a woman's cry of pain in the distance, followed by laughter. Someone being tortured, and for another's pleasure. You step deeper into the apartment. We've gained 3 more karma, so I'm actually going to jump straight in and spend that as quickly as possible before I forget. You'll recall in the last episode, we were trying to flesh out our decking skills, and so, we get full auto once we get to level 3 there. Also something to think about, so we may consider putting a bit more into ranged combat, but I want to make sure that if we end up in a matrix situation, I can handle my own. So let's take decking 4, and it looks like that's going to unlock a new ability for us. It's going to give us Mark Target 2, which increases our chance to hit enemies by 15% when used. Now, those are more than likely for combats in the Matrix. I doubt those are useful in the real world, but I'll keep an eye out for them in the next combat. Close down our skills list there, and we're actually actively in combat right now. So we're only going to be able to move a unit at a time. I'm going to take it slow, and hopefully we don't get ourselves into too much trouble. I didn't see that guy until too late, otherwise I would have moved him over to here. I just noticed him. Let's go ahead and end his turn right there, and we'll just kind of see how these things go. Oh good, he didn't spot me either. Let's scope out this room right here, and it appears as though we've got a guy named Harker hanging out. We'll give him a quick shot from our... Yeah, we'll do a single fire on him. So he's taking 10 damage, and he says, "You're gonna pay." Stereotypical dialogue, but it's okay. I'd want to make somebody pay too if they blasted me. He's got a bit more HP than our previous combat, so hopefully this burst fire right here takes him out. It didn't, so we dealt 15 damage, but he's still up, which means he's going to be more than ready to return fire. They are now aware of our presence, so we're going to want to keep line of sight as best as possible. Paco just took 12 rounds to the chest, or 12 damage to the chest. A raspy, manic voice booms over the penthouse PA system. You really think you could come in here and shoot up my place? Do you even know who I am? I know who you are. You're the guy I'm gonna kill. We've got to keep that short and sweet. I can't stand it when people monologue on me. Now, I can't take a shot at either, so I'm gonna take a shot at him, hopefully dropping him. It was a weak shot, reduced our damage by half, but then what we're gonna do is we're gonna hole up in this corner. I'm also gonna swing over here with Paco. The next turn I'm gonna try and see if we can maybe do something with the Doberman. I'm not really sure what to do with it for the time being, but we're gonna rest and we'll allow them to come to us. Never a bad plan. He was able to, or Thistle, I guess. I'm assuming they're gonna try and lay me down with, got burst fire or aim shot. Let's go ahead with burst fire and see if we can kill him in one hit. 25 damage from one burst, down and out. Let me take a look and see. I don't see any way to control my Doberman here. So let me end a turn and, okay, so there's a guy with a rifle who may very well take a shot at us. I'm going to put a couple rounds, we'll burst fire him, so that's 35 damage. Nice and sweet and to the point. We'll give him another burst here, and he missed with his second shot, so we're gonna have to take a second fire there, but it's okay. Stevie J, but no, I can't, and with a bloody Stevie J is no more. Well, I guess that's that. We're gonna have to deal with the rest of his henchmen though, and we have a reload turn coming up. We've unfortunately expunged a large proportion of our ammunition. So since he's coming up close to put a pistol up against our dome, let's go ahead and geek him first. He's down. I'm gonna have to reload either way here. I wonder what the Doberman does. Doberman, do you do anything? Maybe I control him by remote. I'm gonna play around with some of the different options here. We're not gonna get a kill anyways. He's gonna hit me with a shotgun, which damaged my AP actually from the concussion. Let's see what I can cycle through here. Okay, you cycle through it like a weapon. You can turn it on. Oh, and it actually gets a turn. Okay. So what does he do now? It looks like he's got what appears to be a mini cannon of some sort, or a little launcher. He's got two moves. Oh, wow. Take care of business, Woogie. Oh, Woogie's my hero. That was the best thing I've seen today thus far. So my guess is that when Woogie is deactivated, he can't be attacked in combat. Did he just have a little tail come up like a scorpion? Because that's the coolest thing oh my god. This is just a day filled with joy for any previous Shadowrun player. I'm gonna have him take a turn out and reload because I don't like having an empty... Okay, so I don't have to focus completely on him. I can reload and we can actually have him be a PC player. I didn't know if like I had to actively... Wait, okay, so yeah, if he's on, then he's like a remote controlled little dude. I'm gonna keep playing with him just a little bit. You'll forgive me for a moment. I want to get the ins and outs of all of this figured out. So if I turn him on, I'm now sitting there with a remote. I turn him off and it's back on me. Okay. Alright, that makes sense. I kind of get how that whole thing functions, a little bit, kind of, sort of. He does get a free turn though if I turn him off and on, so that leads to some interesting exploitation mechanics. How far can this thing move in a turn? Really? That's pretty impressive. Well, let's end his turn. He's gonna come back so he scouts maybe too. It's interesting. It's an interesting concept, but I'm gonna have to play around with the execution a tad. Let's send Paco over to... I keep seeing like a thing that wants me to loot it over here, but yeah, I'm gonna let it go for now. Let's move Paco into position, maybe get him to scout a little bit further ahead. I don't know what's gonna be in the next room. It hasn't allowed me to drop off just yet. I'll come back for that in a minute. I think they're gonna let us out of combat as soon as we figure out where Coyote's at. Alrighty, so let's take a brief little step into the room. I'm gonna err on the side of caution here. It looks like we've got a gate with some hellhounds that we can inspect. The hellhound shot a fireball at me, which was definitely not very polite, but we've got we've got zebra meat on hand that we can use. So let's investigate the gate and see what we can do here. The room beyond the bars is a stinking jumble of burned flesh and dog flop. An enormous hellhound, its fur streaked with whip marks, growls low. The eyes of a second hellhound burn menacingly in the corner. We're gonna shove the zebra meat through the bars there. The hellhounds devour the zebra meat in a few massive bites and let out a contented growl. Let's take our chances and open the door. I can't guarantee what's gonna happen, but hellhounds are usually pretty bad news in Shadowrun. Hey, and there's Coyote, so let's get on over here and see if we can help her. Oh, Coyote's sucker punching somebody at the moment, so maybe she's gonna need our help. So let's swing up and to that spot right there. There's no pertinent cover available. And then I guess we can't take a burst fire because that uses up both of our rounds, but we can take a single shot And it was a shot well placed. That individual has been geeked quite well. Geeked quite grandly, if we wanted to be alliterative about the whole thing. Let's see what Coyote's got to say. About time you got here, Paco. Who's your friend? God, that face. She's a little beat up at the moment. Gonna need some medical help. Just another professional. Need to ask you some questions. Paco glares. Not now, Coyote. We need to get you back to the Union. Mrs. Kubota has that med lab in the basement. No. Coyote speaks through gritted teeth. No, I need to finish the other thing I came for. I need to find something for Mr. Delilah first. A stash of gems. Delilah? I thought you said you'd never do another deal with that man. Look, Paco, I need an excuse to come back here and settle some debts. Figured I might as well get paid for it. Her voice is strong still, but her body's beginning to shake. Coyote, go get medical attention. I'll find the gemstones and meet you here. Or meet you there at the Seamstress Union. Coyote looks as though she's about to argue but says nothing. Come on, Coyote, let's go. Alright, so it healed us up there. And we got ourselves some more karma. We got 7 karma on hand. I believe I'm going to spend the karma continuing to beef up our intelligence. After that, once I feel competent about the amount of decking skills that we've got, I'll feel a lot more comfortable putting points into other things, but for the time being, work is very compartmentalized in Shadowrun. If you can't do your job, nobody's gonna hire you for anything, and that makes me feel like I should probably have some skills. I mean, I don't want to be like an absolute whiz, but I'd like to be competent at the job that I say that I do, so if we used decking and rigging, we can increase our chance to hit with intelligence, and it also reduces the chance to be hit by enemy programs in the Matrix. Okay, so this makes us better with our drone, so it may actually be in our best interest to use our drone a lot more instead of putting ourselves in the line of fire if we're going to pump up intelligence for now. But there's level 5 in intelligence. Once we get 5 more karma, we'll put it into decking 5. Once decking 5 is down, I think I'll be comfortable putting points into either ESP control. Let's talk about ESP control. So for a decker, ESPs, they're called expert systems programs. I always refer to them as ESPers, which I think some people call them as well. ESPs, ESPers, or expert system programs, they're sentient programs that you can conjure in the Matrix, and so they're basically party members that you can create for yourself if you're doing a decking run. So that's an interesting thing to put points into, and it supplies me with backup if I don't have multiple deckers. Drone control might be interesting. Along with drone combat, it appears to increase passive buffs. All of these down here seem to make your drones a lot better, and these ones up here just make us able to equip higher military grade drones. So I don't think that's something I'm going to focus on too heavily given our playstyle, but it is something to bear in mind. It never hurts to have an extra little buddy that we can send out to get shot instead of ourselves. As for things up in this region, I'm not going to touch anything in strength too frequently. Close combat, melee, unarmed, and throwing, not going to be a big priority for me. If we ever have a samurai on our team, I'm going to pump those pretty heavily with him or her, but not myself. Rifle skills, I definitely think we should probably get a little bit more of. Increase our ranged combat to at least 5 in the future, but for now, we're going to stick with what we have. So let's jump on out of a menu, because obviously we don't want to spend too much time in there. We kept Paco alive, everything's all good and dandy. Let's take a look around this apartment and see if we can find anything lootable. A rich guy like Stevie J has got to have something laying around here that we can sell, pawn, or otherwise make cash off of, because we are broke as a joke on a rope right now. Just ridiculously broke. Purge the meta-humans, how pleasant. I'm not a meta, but I feel for my meta friends. Looks like we've got a locked door there. Let's see if there's any way to jimmy that bad boy open from another location. There was a manipulation icon over here, so I'll check that first. See if it's still here, and there it is. Stevie J's passcodes. Cool. So we should be able to get into all the locked rooms now. At least I hope we'll be able to. God, that thing is just loaded. Oh, hellhound. Yeah, we got problems. So let me see if I can burst fire this thing down. So there's 25 damage to start out with. These things hit really hard, and they nerf your AP so that you can only really get one shot off at a time. In this veritable arms race here, I'm not sure who's going to win. He just scuffed a shot right there, so I think we'll be okay. Just want to make sure we're firing the right round here, and down he goes, so that almost ended poorly for us. I'm going to consider going to my menu now, taking a look at my loadout, and let's activate a medkit, just in case there's anything else in here that's going to get us into trouble. So there we go, plus 10 HP, that'll more or less get rid of the damage that we had to take. The drone, unfortunately, I wish we had independent control of the drone, or we had like AI protocol, so we find a small velvet bag filled with precious gems. Cool. Woogie, take the gems. We need to give... I think Woogie needs like a Stephen Hawking voice. I think that would definitely bring Woogie to life as a player character in my group. He needs to be sentient though. We need to come up with some kind of AI protocols for him to get whatever he wants. I'm a little nervous about opening up these rooms now that I know there's hellhounds around, but it looks like we've hit a storeroom. Let's search everything we can. You find a money clip full of new yen and a med kit. So 75 new yen and an advanced med kit. That's one of the good ones. That's one of the ones that gets you patched up for realsies. Just old junk. Well, we'll see what's in this other drawer, and then we will get the hell out of here. Some loose new yen is laying on the crate. So another $25. The extra 100, well, I said dollars, but I meant new yen. The extra 100 new yen, not a lot of money. In a world where hundreds of thousands of new yen tend to be what you need to get the job done, it's not completely and totally the type of revenue stream that I'd like to keep permanently, but for the time being, we're gonna scrape by as we can. The beginning of games are always the most fun anyways, so they're asking us if we want to head back to the Seamstress Union. We're gonna say, indeed. We will say verily, sir, verily, and we will head back. So, despite Coyote's clear desire to stand on her own 2 feet, Paco needs to help her through the door into the Seamstress Union. Heads raised, and the front room of the bar falls strangely silent. Paco stands beside her now, not speaking, his dark eyes flat with fury. Coyote presses a rag to her clawed-up face. She winces but manages to keep control as she breathes in slow, deep breaths to manage the pain. Taking a closer look, you see her arm isn't much more than shreds of meat and broken bone held together by tendons and burned skin. It'll be a miracle if she still has it by the end of the night. Miss Kubota is tending bar herself when Paco carries the mangled and bleeding Coyote into the Union. As soon as the boss lady lays eyes on her missing bartender, the place gets quiet fast. By the time she rounds the bar to meet you, Coyote is the color of wet spackle, and there's something new in her eye. Fear. This woman has faced down hellhounds, but the sight of Mrs. Kubota has her staring at the floor and mumbling. Woman, how dare you miss 2 shifts, then come back and bleed on my floor? I'm sorry, Mrs. Kubota. I had a run that went badly. Soka, I can see that. Your arm is a mess. Soka is no kidding. People say that when they want to say no kidding, or I can see that, or obviously. Was this your crusade again? Don't answer. It'll only upset me further. You've caused me to worry about you, Coyote, and that distracted me from my business. Hi, Miss Kubota. Apologies again. Hi that's the traditional Japanese, like, acknowledgement. Cherry, take her downstairs to Dr. Castle. Yes, ma'am. And tell Castle to put something new and shiny where that arm used to be. Mrs. Kubota, I can't afford a cyber arm. I am aware of your financial situation. When you are healed, we will discuss the concept of Giri, the debt of honor. Now go. Bleed elsewhere. Yes, ma'am. So we get 2 more karma. We're doing pretty well on the karma front. The game seems to be dishing it out. I mean, they're not as... I'm a little tight-fisted when I run my campaigns. You don't get karma unless you do something ultimately badass, but... Anyways, her anger at Coyote's rashness slowly washes from her eyes and is replaced by tears. She sniffs, wipes them away, and inclines her head to you. Domo arigato, Splattercat. That girl is precious to me. It's not often that we see acts like these in the Barrens. You've performed a great service for my little family, and I welcome you into my home. Consider it yours while your work keeps you here. But we both know that words are mere air. Beyond my thanks, I offer you this remuneration. Please take it as a show of respect. I'm gonna say I'm honored, Mrs. Kubota. Thank you. You are most welcome, and I offer more than simple lodging. You will find that there is more to the Union than meets the eye. Below us is a small facility available exclusively for discriminating independent operatives like yourself. In it you will find vendors selling the best gear the black market has to offer, a fully equipped cyber dock, and a secure place to rest when the dreck hits the fan, as they say. Is it a safe house too? Indeed, normally I require a percentage of the runner's income for the use of this facility, but as I said, you are family now. Consider it on the house. To gain entrance, play GAFFC on the piano. Okay, so it sounds like we got ourselves set up. Let me talk with Miss Kubota once more, though, just to make sure, because she's a powerful lady. She's got things to say and stuff to tell us, so it's good to always... In Shadowrun, you play a little bit differently. Shadowrun, you always want to milk as much information out of everybody as possible. It may be the thing that determines whether you survive or not in the future. And a lot of players from D&D... Other tabletop games have a lot of trouble with that concept, where they just want to rush to the next combat. Shadowrun, if you don't manage your contacts, your friends, and things like that properly, you could end up in trouble. Now, this is a video game, obviously, but old habits die hard, so I figured I would just throw that out there. How else can I be of service? Is Mr. Delilah here tonight? Yes, Mr. Delilah's in the back bar. That's usually where he does his business. You mentioned Coyote's crusade. What is it? Coyote grew up in Royale but managed to escape that life. However, her cousin was apparently not so lucky. He came to town about a year ago and fell in with the wrong circle. He was introduced to sim chips and became addicted to BTLs. Coyote has been tearing her way through chip houses for months now, searching for him and acting as a one-woman cleanup crew. Are there any Johnsons or Fixers here tonight? In addition to Mr. Delilah, you may wish to speak with Van Grass. He's often stage side. Van Grass is most often a receiver of found articles, but he occasionally has work. If you don't mind, how did you get involved in all of this? I'm a former runner. Now I provide a safe haven and a marketplace for runners who need a trustworthy place to congregate and do business. Okay, so we've used up all of our options there. Let's go talk to some of these interesting individuals who have now made their services available to us. Let's talk with Van Grass first and foremost because we've got things to sell, so... Van Grass is busy talking on his comlink, checking his heads-up display and motioning to a runner standing nearby all at the same time. He's an intense little man. You get the sense that he likes to look busy. I'm Van Grass. Make it quick. Business good. Talk to me. Miss Kubota said you're a fixer. He still hasn't looked at you. He's going a mile a minute. Nothing for you tonight, sorry. I'm doing a thing right now, an important thing. Talk to you later. Oh, hey, one more thing. He covers his comlink for a moment, tilts his head your way, but you can see he's still staring at his HUD. I'm a fence too. If you got anything you need to unload, come and see me. Alright, so we have a place to get rid of our goods as well. I need to finish this call, perhaps another time. Well, you were still flagged, bud, so I figured maybe we had something to talk about. It looks as though Mr. Clue has moved on, looking for a date. Not at your price range, pal. Let's talk to Mr. Clue, make sure everything's been okay here at the bar. The hulking troll bouncer in the immaculate suit stands as impassively as ever. The absence of dust on his broad shoulders is the only real indication that the man ever moves. He nods to you when you approach. I like that line. Good writing in this game. Thus far, I've been really impressed with the writing. Evening. I see Coyote's back, looking only a little the worse for wear. We have you to thank for that? Paco and I tracked her down. I've always wondered what she saw in him, but I guess he ain't all that bad. I'm just glad she's back. Couldn't stomach losing anyone else so soon after what happened to Sam. You feel protective over people here? Immensely, towards anyone that walks through that door, be they employee or patron, unless they mean ill will, of course. Mind if I ask you a few questions? Haven't minded so far. You hear anything else about Sam's death? People are saying it was the Ripper, but people say a lot of things about what they don't know, or what they don't understand. We already know where there's a fence. How long have you been working for Mrs. Kubota? I crawled in here after I awoke. Mrs. Kubota took me in and gave me a job. I've been here ever since. Alright, so there's nothing else there other than cracking jokes, so we're gonna leave those alone. I don't want to anger a giant troll who's a bouncer. I knew a guy who was a bouncer growing up, and that guy was nobody to mess with. Definitely, you see a lot more action as a bouncer than most normal people. Let's play on the piano here and see what we can do. The piano looks like it's been here since the Union was built, but doesn't look like anyone has played it in earnest for almost as long. Let's go ahead and throw down on GAFFC. As you slowly pick the notes out on the keyboard, they spark a faint memory of wonder, immediately forgotten as the entire piano slides to the left, revealing a hidden staircase. You descend the stairs into the Union safe house. Lovely. So we've got ourselves a base of operations, which is almost equally important as to being equipped for your mission. The entrepreneurial Mrs. Kubota has combined everything a runner might need into a one-stop shopping experience. Black market equipment, high-end magical talismans, and fully stocked cyber surgery dealerships. Well then, let's take a look around here. Welcome, no bunks available. So I'm guessing these are other Shadowrunners who are all sharing the location. And now you know earlier how I was talking about how we sent items to our stash? This is our stash. It's always going to be here from now on. We can access all the items we might need. We don't lose items, so if our inventory is full when we acquire new stuff, we just throw it in the stash. There's no major punishment for running out of space. We've got a gold dialogue down here, so I'm going to check that out. Dr. Sarah Castle, you've got something on your shoulder there. Make it quick. I need to operate. Thanks for helping me out back there, Coyote says. Well, it looked like you could use a hand. Ouch, bad joke right now. She looks down at her mangled arm. Okay, folks, I'm going to have to ask you to go sit in the waiting area. Watch some Tri-Vid or something. This young lady and I have some work to do. Mrs. Kubota never said what kind of cyber arm she'd pay for. I want something badass. You got one with a laser inside? You'll take what I give you, lady. Now let's have a look at your face. Leave it. Excuse me? Coyote. I earned this face by being stupid, and I'm gonna keep it. End of story. Whatever you say, kid. With one swift move, she sinks a syringe into Coyote's thigh. Nighty-night. Alright, so there's Coyote with the new robotic arm. I guess we'll talk to her. Coyote looks both better and worse when you last saw her. All the gaping holes are plugged and she's sporting a shiny new cyber arm, but now that the adrenaline is worn off, it's clear she needs some rest. Good morning. Thanks to the miracle of modern science combined with Doc Castle's magical healing powers, I'm almost as good as new. Better, really. Nice arm. Thanks, Mrs. Kubota will have me working it off for the rest of my life. She notices your expression. You look like you've got something on your mind. She flashes you a puzzled look. Oh, I asked her I have a question. She says, what kind of question? About Sam Watts. Sam Watts? What about him? Sam's dead. Holy dreck. Sam? I can't say I'm surprised. He was on a downward spiral for a long time. What can I tell you? Tell me about Sam. I hear you liked him. I did. He made me laugh. No one else here seemed to like Sam's jokes, but I did. Well, I guess there's no accounting for taste. Sam made some bad jokes. Not when he was sober. He was chill and funny. I guess I knew him the best everyone here. Sorry he's gone. You served Sam the night he died. What do you remember about that night? It was a pretty average night. Regular crowd as I remember. Sam was drinking with a guy named Armitage. Jake Armitage? Yeah, you know him? I met him. He's a real charmer too. She bites her lower lip. I like gingers. Anyways, Jake and Sam were having a few. Well, Jake was having a few. Sam was tossing them back, but good. Eventually he got loud, the way that he sometimes did when he mixed drinking and who knows what, and Miss Kubota wanted him ejected. Mr. Clue wasn't around. Can't remember why, so she asked Jake to do the honors. Jake dragged him out the back into the alley, and that's the last time I saw Sam. You said he got loud? What do you remember about what he was saying? She thinks. Standard Sam Drek, how he grew up rich and didn't deserve this. How he hated his mother, how he loved his mother. It was all pretty pathetic stuff. You have any enemies? She thinks. Enemies? It's hard to say. Sam partied hard, and when he did, he ran his mouth off pretty good. Got his ass kicked on more than one occasion, but nah, I don't think he had any real enemies. At least none that I'm aware of. How bad was the drinking? If it was just the drinking, it would have been bad, but Sam wasn't the monogamous type. He dabbled in everything. Booze, chips, drugs. He loved the nitro, whatever he could get his hands on. It wasn't always like that, but once he got sick, he started using more and more stuff to try and forget about it. Sam was sick? Dying, didn't you know? Yeah. Everyone could tell. You could just look at him and see he was a walking corpse. It had to be the drinking. And he disappeared for a while, and one day he came back looking better. Looked good, even. It's hard to imagine. He said his mom helped him out. Never said how, though. Where did he live? On the streets, mostly. He'd occasionally convince someone to let him flop on their couch, but he'd always overstay his welcome and get kicked out after a few days. Sometimes I'd sneak him down here so he could crash in one of the bunks. He used one the night before I saw him last. Thanks, Coyote. Now I need you two to do something for me. What do you need, babe? I need you to talk to Mr. Delilah for me about the Royale run. He's usually upstairs. Tell him I didn't get the gems. Maybe I can take another run at it when I recover. Well, that's probably not going to go over well, but we did recover the gems, so hopefully we can kind of turn that around, and we have an optional objective to turn them in. We can be a dick or we can be a dude. Because I'm a loyal individual, I'm probably going to be a dude. Let's check Sam's bunk. The bunk is a mess and reeks of booze. Searching through the sheets, blankets, and pillow, you find an old photograph that's seen a lot of wear. Take a look at the image. The picture is of a blonde boy and girl, both about age 14, sitting on a dock on the edge of a lake. They appear to be twins. The boy has his arm tied around the girl's shoulders and is mugging for the camera. The girl is planting a kiss on his cheek while making rabbit ears behind his head with her fingers. Check the back of the photo, and it says, written in a woman's hand are the words, Sam and Jessica, Lake Sammamish State Park, summer 2040. Well, we'll take the photo for now. I don't know how much use it's going to be to us, but it never hurts to have something like that on hand. Now, over here, these are all vendors. So you got a guy over here. He's going to sell you, his name's David Fry. He's going to sell you Decker gear. This gentleman over here, TB Gruberman, is our arms specialist. He sells you guns and weapons. Unfortunately, I don't think we have a lot of cash right now. We have about 1,000. We have a little over $1,000 in New Yen. So we're sitting on 1K, but not really the amount of money that I want to throw around for the time being. Over here, Eric Mersman, I forget what he does. I think he sells clothing, so you can change your outfit. That's actually something really to consider. Getting a new outfit might work. So he says, change your clothes, change your life, right? Not only will you look better, not that you look bad now or nothing, but each one will help you keep on the right side of ground. Take a look. So let's look at the outfits we have available. We have ninja clothing, alley punk. All of these give us a bit more armor, which is good. That's going to reduce the damage we take when we get shot, because as of right now, the default clothing that we have is pretty worthless. So our choices start down here with the black hat. So the coolest hat in the shadows, it grants you 1 intelligence. A very cool decker outfit right there if you're trying to boost yourself for challenge checks. However, since I've put enough points into intelligence already, not really going to stress about it. We've got a grouping of armor for people that cast spells. We've got armor which gives you more charisma. We've also got a touristy one that gives you more intelligence, and you end up with some cool space goggles and a flower print shirt. It's kind of a Miami Vice, kind of a Grand Theft Auto Vice City type look. We've got a ninja outfit, which gives you dodge +1, which is an ability that lets you move out of the way of melee attacks. And then you got alley punk for the most expensive for 4 armor, and grants you 3 HP for free. That's a pretty good ability as well. So I think, I don't want to spend too much money. We might think about outfitting our cyber deck for the time being with our cash. I mean, I'd love to, let's buy a cheap outfit. We'll buy the tourist look, and we'll confirm it. That leaves us with 700 new yen to get ourselves taken care of. Now, we can equip that right away, or we can go back to the stash. It makes us look a little goofy. We've definitely got, we've got socks and sandals on. Pretty brutal, but, you know, we are a decker, so think about it that way. We probably spent a good chunk of our life sitting around, messing around with C++, getting angry over, you know, the editor wars between VI and Emacs, so you know how that goes. But in any case, I don't think we're going to be able to afford much more here, so let's take our goofy asses and get on out of here. I think this is where I'm going to break off the episode. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for another thrilling episode of Shadowrun Returns. I hope you've enjoyed it thoroughly. I have, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care out there, everybody.